Hello everyone, it's Mike Levin, February 12th, 2015. It's about 8:30 a.m. walking to work, and it's my second video of the morning because I can, and I thought I'd say a few words about the ideas that don't make it into these videos yet are still documented and accessible to you. And I'd also thought I'd give you an update of the 215 stairs that are coming along nicely. That's in the Inwood neighborhood of New York City, Manhattan, way north as you can go, until if you went any further, you'd be crossing over the Broadway Bridge into the Bronx. So anyway, I thought I would point out that MikeLevinSEO.com hosts my work journal, where I type into one really long file my thoughts every day, usually, and I put no work into formatting it really, or I don't use any web publishing system per se. I just write in a text file, tapping away in the Vim text editor, adding every new entry at the top of the file, so it's reverse chronological, just like a blog. But I use the markdown style markup language, which is just some light formatting that you do in a text file so that tools can make it really pretty for display on the web. And it was created by a guy named John Gruber. There's a bunch of variations on this kind of lightweight markup approach, but this is the one that really caught on big time. GitHub decided to use it for the format for their automatically displaying readmes under every repository, so it really caught on because of that. And using a decision like that, I don't have to make any other decisions about web publishing platforms like WordPress or Jekyll or PyGreen. There's a whole bunch that I was actually looking at that I was quite interested in, but they all sort of tie you to particular technologies, whereas if you just use a plain old text file and put lightweight formatting in, anything that can display markup can display it. And it just saves me so much time and overhead of figuring out how to push my stream of consciousness out onto the web every day, mostly for my own sake. I make the point over and over in the journal that it is for my own sake 90%. Maybe 10% I'm doing it for posterity, so that people coming in can see, kind of have the metadata behind these videos and the projects that I'm doing. And also, it's a life hack inspired by a Robert Cialdini persuasion, the art of persuasion principle. And that principle is commitment and consistency, where he noticed that people who did things or stated their intent in a semi-public place where they thought their peers would see, like signing a petition for some cause that they knew their neighbors were going to see as the signature collector went around the neighborhood, that person who stated their support was more likely to stay consistent with their stated beliefs and intents later on, because they stated it publicly and knew that other people might be watching. So I'm using that so that as I state my intent, there's some tiny chance that people actually read my very densely packed, one giant long scrolling page, lightly formatted daily work journal. But probably not. There's just as much likelihood as, like, you know, neighbors scanning down signatures to see who signed or not, beyond maybe one or two signatures they recognize. But the point is that I don't really expect people are going to read it. It's for me. But I am using Vim and Git to manage it, and I'm pushing it up to GitHub, and I'm using GitHub's really innovative GitHub.io publishing platform to create a website. And I'm resolving domain, in this case MikeLevinSEO.com, to github.io. So when you go to MikeLevinSEO.com, it's actually showing you a text file being hosted by GitHub that I'm pushing up as a repository, just like any other coding project. It's always open there side by side with Pipulate or Levinix or whatever other project I happen to be working on at the time. And sometimes I use it just to capture miscellaneous thoughts through the day. And there's two great aspects to it there. One is I have one and only one place to look to review my old thoughts. I don't have to use Google to search my own WordPress site that's broken up over pages with arbitrary decisions about page breaks and, you know, groupings. It's a lot more like stream of consciousness. One long file, latest stuff right there on the surface, like your current thoughts, and all the old stuff buried deep with only just a little bit of light indexing so that you could link things together and pull them up. But if you perform a search, it's right there in that one spot using whatever text editor, whatever search tools are built into your text editor or web browser. So one place to look to go over my old thoughts. And it's also a test of Google because I'm in the field of SEO. Let's see what Google makes of a single giant long page and a one-page website that after time it could be, you know, megabytes of text file. It'll probably take years to get to that point. But if you search on something that's talked about on that page, will Google ever serve that page? It's barely even HTML. It's just enough HTML to use. And I mentioned remark.js in my last video this morning about how I'm going to do a PowerPoint-like slideshow for Pipulate embedded into the web browser and the UI. Well, there's also strapdown.js. So there's remark.js for PowerPoint-like data, and then there's strapdown.js to turn your markdown into more, let's say Word, Microsoft Word, or nicely formatted documentation. Remark.js is to PowerPoint what strapdown.js is to Word. And so if you view source on MikeLevinSEO.com, you'll see what I'm talking about. So anyway, I thought I'd get that out there just to tell people who actually are following this. And there are a few of you. I get consistent views on every video published. If you want to see the whole story, there's a lot more if you've got unlimited hours in the day to go look and inhuman patience to wade through that mass of rambling, sometimes incoherent information. Well, anyway, thanks for joining me. Talk to you soon. Don't forget to subscribe and refer someone else to these videos who you think needs to see them.